Okay, we are live, everybody. My name is Bahzad.
My name is Risa.
And we are here, streaming live from Yokohama, Japan, to bring to you the Wonder Looper live stream, the greatest live stream in the history of all live streams. It is Saturday morning, April the 12th for us here in Japan, April 11th for many of you out in the West. And we're here. We're here to talk about all things Wonder Looper related. And etc. 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 We'll find out in the chat what all those other etceteras might be. Maybe you're going to get me all juiced up on some topic. Juiced up? Is that what happens to me?
I don't know.
She doesn't know. But I do tend to ramble on and rant on. If you want to hear my opinions on all kinds of fashion-related things, ask away in the comments section below or in the chat, in the live chat. And let's see who is here tuning in the live chat right now. We've got Mr. BD, the producer. What's up, gang? Double heavy Heather T. Double heavyweight Heather Gray T. Double heavyweight hoodie. King of Slub 2 jeans. I refuse to feel the damp cold today.
So damp and cold, huh?
Yeah, it's tough. It was quite rainy out here in Nihon yesterday. At least last night it was. We were out gallivanting around Yokohama. I think that's the right word. And yeah, we got caught in the rain. And I was wearing a triple heavyweight tsuriami t-shirt. That thing can absorb some rain, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, it's nice to have the warm embrace of heavy garments on a cold day. I'll tell you that much. We've got Pierre Moreau in the house. Good to see you, old friend. Greetings from Guelph, Ontario, sporting the double heavyweight Ecru and MIJ12s.
Nice combo.
That's a great combo. I love to see the Naked and Famous Denim Wonder Looper combo for obvious reasons. It's 83 degrees here, 83 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 degrees here, so not so heavyweight anything for me right now. Hey, that's okay. The warm weather is very important to have.
It's a t-shirt weather.
Yeah, t-shirt weather, which I mean, we will have some more summery weight t-shirts coming very soon, so keep an eye out for that. We've got the ultimate pima, tsuriami, Foxfibre tsuriami. Those are coming real soon. We're going to talk about release dates on those in this stream. So if you haven't read the newsletter already, well, then you should subscribe to our newsletter. But we're going to talk about
what's the word? Like some extra information about that too.
All right, we have some extra information about that too. So stick around. Solvents, hello from Scottolando, wearing my Super Looper shorts.
Nice.
Fantastic. Glad to hear it.
Short weather in Scotland? It's hard to believe.
Well, you know what? It's the tough Scotland blood that they have. They can bear that cool weather. That's it. Jason Scott, have a great show. We'll be in touch in the morning. Well, thanks for checking in. We've got Solvents. Hit the thumbs up, chat. You're right, everybody. Everybody hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Let's get a like rush right here early in the stream. Devin Hurt says vests? ? Vests? I don't know.
Is the question,
are
we making vests?
Or where did the vests that used to hang up over there go? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're asking. Splished, I think it says. It's 22 degrees a few days ago. Now it's 82.
That's insane. That's a lot of difference.
That's a big jump. But I'm glad it's warm. I'm glad it's warm. Epic says, evening here from Minnesota with my ELS Ecru slub tee and some loop-wheeled fleeced sweatpants. Fantastic.
Matching today.
Yeah, there you go. Nomad Crow, feeling my 6-week-old newborn. Oh, sorry, feeding my 6-week-old newborn and watching your show in sunny Okinawa. Got my wife a double heavyweight tee upstairs that I'll change into later for tonight's activities. Sorry, got my white. I don't have my glasses on. I'm not seeing. Got my white double heavyweight tees upstairs that will change into for later on activities. Fantastic. I hope you're having a nice time in Okinawa. We are headed that way, hopefully in a couple weeks.
To Okinawa?
Well, down south.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
6-week-old though. That's
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun times.
The early times, they're all fun. We don't have children,
Yeah.
but we're adjacent to a lot of children.
6 weeks sounds very peaceful.
Right. Yeah. I don't know when it doesn't get peaceful.
I think when they start to be more assertive.
Is that more peace or less peace? Because then
Less peace.
they're giving you back. Yeah, they're talking back to you.
Yeah.
No. It's our
Yes.
favorite word among children. Mm-hmm. Do you want to eat this? No. Do you want to go here? No. I'm like, are you sure? No. It's fun. It's great. Sorry about that. But yeah, we are headed down south because we want to, we're going to investigate some natural dye houses. So that's something that we're going to be working on for some future production. So we just want to establish these relationships. A friend of ours is going to be taking us down soon, and yeah, we'll document it in some way, and we'll let you know what our findings are. But what kind of dye does this place specialize in?
Oh, we talked about it last week, I think, in details. But there's this dye house in Amami Island that specialized their own like Amami like local dye method of it's basically dorozame, but they do dye it with like I think it's a type of plum tree that they use the tree bark to dye it as like the base dye, and that comes out like in very like muted pink kind of color, which
Like a
is
rosy
very,
tone.
yeah. It's very, very nice. And then on top of that, they do dorozome, which as the dorozome is like mud dye, and they use natural mud. I don't know if there's any unnatural mud, but so the minerals in the mud and the dirt makes that garment have like more blackish, like more minerally color, and it is an amazing. It's a very time consuming method of dyeing, I think, but there's just like so much great colors coming from that. So. Yeah. We're fascinated by the idea, and we want to make something with that.
Yeah, the hope is for next spring with these guys.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm jumping the gun here because I do this often. But the idea is to take the ELS recycled cotton slub tee and then use that as a dye base for some natural dyes. So we know how much people have loved this T-shirt, and I think it'll make. Because of the slubbiness of this shirt, I think it'll pick up the dye in a very interesting way. So, the thinner parts will take up less dye, the thicker parts will take up more dye, and so you'll get a mixture of texture and then dye penetration. I think it's going to look fantastic.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. We'll have some decisions to make. Yeah.
Anyhow, this is just me getting way ahead of myself here, but that's what I do. That's what you tune in for, to get the early fragments of ideas. All right, Nicholas Vilpu says, I got soaked on my way home last night, but at least now I don't need to wash my jeans. Perfect. Rain wash. Let Mother Nature handle it.
We did that with our car.
Yeah, our car, it's
it never gets washed, but
it does sometimes, but just
it has been once.
Yeah. The thing in Japan, I don't know if this is true necessarily, but there's they say it's a lot of Chinese sand that comes over the ocean, and
it is true. It's not not true.
So just
the sand that comes, like yellow sand that comes from the China side of the ocean.
Yeah. And so like sometimes I'll look on it's definitely right. So I'll look at my balcony and there'll just be like sand on my balcony. And like our car definitely gets covered with it, and so it's constantly covered with dust. And every now and then we're like, we should take this for a car wash. And then every time we take the car out, it is just pouring rain, and Mother Nature does great work for us. So we appreciate you, Mother Nature. I'm sorry if I ever said anything nasty to you before, but I really appreciate the car washes. Right. Yes. Okay. That's me being funny. There you go. Check. There's the comedy part of the show done. Christina B says California is checking in. Thank you, and good to see you, Mr. Monkey. Hi, Risa. Do you have a cold?
Yes. I'm sorry about my voice. But I'm on the way to recovery.
Yeah.
I'm feeling almost normal except for my voice.
Yeah. She's on the road to proper health again. I was sick, and then as
I inherited
diseases
it.
transfer, they made their way to her.
Yeah.
Melody Murray says, hello from Tucson. Also wearing my Super Looper shorts today. About to hit 100 degrees. Ooh, that's very hot. It's very hot. Devin Hurt says, Wonder Looper vests.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. You can make your own vest. Just chop off those sleeves.
Sweatshirt vest.
Yeah, sweatshirt vest. You're all set. Okay. Stuart Campbell says, vests with wife respecter embroidered on them, please. Vests with wife respecter embroidered on them. A vest and a wife respecter combo. That's,
So you really want to show off your...
you got to be ripped. Yeah. I hope you have big muscles. D. Kong says, hello from Seattle. Great way to end the workday by watching the stream. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. And Solvents, the weather has been nice here the past week in Scotland. Finally feels like spring, so I got my shorts out.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Well, we're going to be headed out to Scotland real soon. All right. Let me see. Sorry, I'm going to skip some comments. I know I'm not going to get to all of them, but if I miss a question, ask it again. Be persistent. Okay. This is a good one. Plus, Jan says, in your opinion, I like these questions, what are the most overrated Japanese dishes? Overrated Japanese dishes. Oh, I have a hot take on that one.
Japanese dishes.
Like food.
Oh, food.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Not like cups, you know.
Yeah, it's like, I don't,
What's the most overrated Japanese dish?
I can't even name one.
Those little chopstick, little holder things, the ceramic ones. Those are really good.
No, they are not overrated. Food-wise, okay. What is the most overrated? Ooh, that's a hard question. If you have an answer,
Okay,
go
I
ahead.
have an answer, and it's gonna be a hot take. Most overrated convenience store chicken. Overrated. Why I say it's overrated because a lot of tourists come here and they're very excited to go and see. Like, there's something exciting about going to a 7-Eleven in this side of the world and being like, "What do you mean? I can eat the food here?" Right? It's just, you know, the 7-Eleven you feel that, or the convenience stores that you see back home, sometimes you're just like, this isn't the food for me, right? It's definitely food of convenience, but you're like, you know. But a lot of people, they come to Japan and they're like, fried chicken for like $1.50, like a chicken patty, like they're decent, right? But I feel that foreigners really, really love them, and I think part of it is not that they're fine. I'll say, like, you know, I eat them every now and then, but I used to love them way more when I would come here more as a tourist, and I would think I was just enamored by the idea that I could get a piece of fried chicken at the convenience store that wasn't disgusting and gross, and it was like super cheap also. So in my mind, it was amazing. But like the more I've lived here, and the more sort of accessible and normal they've become, it's more a food of, I wouldn't say desperation, but it's not what I reached to first thing. Whereas when I was a tourist here, like the amount of times that I would just be like, no, we're going to the convenience store and getting food.
Well,
right? I think I was just excited to eat convenience store food because I didn't really have that at home.
But I think it's just really what it is. It's a food of convenience, and it's actually, you know, it's nice to have something like that because, you know, most of the world don't have that.
Right.
And I can see why it's. I don't think anybody's calling it like the best fried chicken in the world.
Right, but I just feel like a lot of people have very high opinions of it. Though last night we were in Chinatown, and you go to Chinatown, you get the Taiwanese big chicken there, and it's a little bit more money, but it's 1,000 times better. Like in my opinion, it is way better, the Taiwanese big chicken, and I will go for that anytime.
To be fair, they're freshly
Yes, they are.
fried chicken at a convenience store. They're not frying chicken to order. Whatever.
Right. If you get it right fresh out the fryer, that's a different thing. But anyhow, my opinion is that that's overrated. Not that it's bad. It's just overrated. That's all. Do you have an opinion on an overrated? Are we talking? Yeah, overrated Japanese dish.
Okay.
Say it. Be controversial.
I think in general a lot of things are overrated. To be honest, I'm a seafood person. I love seafood. I could probably live off of only seafood and rice. But I think a lot of people are like, oh, sushi is my favorite, favorite food. It's like, really? Like, is sushi your favorite food? Like, I don't even feel that way. And I'm,
You're thousands of generations Japanese.
Well, and also, like, my favorite food is seafood. But I still don't think sushi is my favorite food or that I could eat that every day. That just seems, I don't know. I feel like maybe novelty of that is maybe a part of it. I also feel that way about ramen. Like, I like ramen as much as the next guy, but...
Personally, I prefer my men cooked, but that's just me.
Okay, every time I mention ramen, he says this joke, so that's why I'm not laughing at it. It's not because I mean to him.
No, she thinks I'm hilarious. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
But yeah, I don't know, ramen too. It's just especially the pork broth ramen. There are good times for it. I can certainly appreciate that, but I feel like it's way overrated in general.
All right. Well, there you go. Some overrated thoughts. Sushi and ramen. Overrated. What is your favorite Japanese dish? What is your favorite seafood?
Ooh.
There you go.
That's a tough one. It depends. But I think in general, shrimp is a golden standard because it's affordable everywhere in all kinds of forms.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
And delicious.
There you have it, everyone. Nicholas Villepou says, I'd say natto is overrated, but my son disagrees with me.
Oh, I hate natto. In this household, we never buy natto.
There's no natto in this house.
So I wouldn't even consider food.
Right. It is, I don't know. I don't know why people like it.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in a household of only one person eating natto. My father was the only one that eats natto in the morning. And my sister, my mother, me, we all hated it. At a certain point, my mother started to eat natto. And I was like, what? Like, how would you go from like, oh, I hate this, to like loving it? Right. I don't really understand. But
yeah, I don't know. I have no interest in eating it. And
it's like, okay, like if that's the only food that's available and I'm starving, I might eat that. But
right.
It's
a food of real last resort.
Yeah, and like how would you like want to eat that? I don't understand. I feel the same way about like, any kind of stinky food.
Yeah. If you don't know what it is, it's like it's a fermented soybean.
Right.
And it has like this slimy kind of
stringy. What do you call this?
Yeah,
like it's like there's a string.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than slimy because it's not goopy. It's a little bit more I don't know, whatever it is.
It's like a glue?
Gluey kind of look to it. So when you pick it up, it just looks all stuck together and It does not smell, to me, it does not smell great. I think
It
to a
is
lot of people, it
fermented.
doesn't smell great.
Yeah.
And, it has a taste to match. So, I think it's
Does it?
one of
I
the most, even in Japan, I think if you're a foreigner here, Japanese people will often ask you, do you like natto? Like, that's a very common question for a foreigner. And the answer is going to be either yes or no. And then even if you say no, and they're going to be like, oh, yeah, me too. Like, there's just a lot of Japanese people. In this country, that's probably the most, like, divisive food. Or, like, either you like it or you don't like it. I think there's enough people that do not like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's, yeah.
Yeah.
But like durian, for example.
Yeah.
Some people are just like, yes, once you get over the smell, it's delicious. And it's like, I don't want to have to get over the smell.
Yeah.
There's so many good food out there that doesn't smell bad.
As a young guy, I always felt with durian, like, yeah, I like it. I was kidding myself. I just wanted to be that guy who was like, oh, yeah, it's good. Oh, yeah, no, once you get over it. Oh, no, you got to freeze it. You got to do all this stuff to it to, like, make it. I'm like, why? I could just have a pineapple, okay?
Exactly.
A pineapple is way better. Let's just stick to that. Yeah. Plus, Jan, I like these questions. Opinions on horse sashimi.
Not a big fan.
I'm not going out of my way to get it, but I've eaten it, and I've eaten horse in this country before, and I've not disliked it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fine.
Yeah, it's not one of those things where like I'm used to ordering it. So if it's on the menu, I'm not going to order it. But if maybe sometimes you'll be in a group of people and somebody orders some, like if it's there, I'll try it. But it's just not one of my go-tos to like, let's have some horse today.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's just, sometimes especially in like business meetings here in Japan, like I remember one time, me and Brandon were in Okayama, like, countryside Japan, and we were out with the denim mills. We went for a sushi dinner, and we're eating. They brought out this big platter, all kinds of, seafood on this plate. Big plate, huge. And, we can kind of figure out what each one is. Okay, that's this kind of fish, that's this kind of fish, and like, sometimes you just don't know, and you're just eating, and there's this one piece where like, we're looking at it, and we're like, what is that? And even the Japanese guys we were with, they're like, I don't know, like, what is that? And then they yell out to like they yell at the chef, like, what is this? And the guy's like, whale. And we're like, oh. Anyway, so we had some whale, but there's just, sometimes in Japan you're gonna come across some like weird cuts of meat that you might not have expected, and it just shows up on your plate.
Especially like if you're a foreigner being shown around by a Japanese person, like they might feel like kind of it's their duty to introduce them to food
like
that
real
like,
Japan.
they don't have.
Yeah.
Not real Japan, but like more like precisely the kind of food that they might not eat in their country, like America or wherever. So I think that's why you come across a lot of weird food.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like out of all those like kind of weird food, I think the chicken, raw chicken sashimi, I think that's my favorite. Or like that will be the one that I would enjoy.
Yeah. Also, me too. So this is the one that absolutely terrifies people. Like, so I've had friends who come here and they want to try whale or they want to try horse, and like, we'll take them. Okay, fine. Then I'm like, do you want to try chicken sashimi? Or like, you can get beef sashimi, like, like raw beef.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, because they know that you can eat that, like tartar.
Yeah.
Beef.
So like horse sashimi, horse tartar, beef tartar, horse like beef sashimi, no problem. And then I'm like, do you want to try chicken sashimi? And they're like, what? Like what?
No.
They're like, no, that's going to kill you. And I'm like, it won't kill you. I know because I've eaten it many times.
And it's not one of those things where like we're accustomed to it, so we can handle it in our stomach. It's like anybody can handle it.
Yeah. So there is special restaurants. They have raw chicken on the menu, and I'm not to be honest with you, I am not exactly sure how and when and how it's prepared. but it is safe to eat, or as safe to eat as any other, I would presume, raw meat. And it's widely available, or like it's not particularly uncommon.
Yeah.
So that one always terrifies the foreigners, because as I'm a foreigner, my brain was, if raw chicken even so much as touches this like countertop, you better disinfect the entire thing, because tomorrow, like, there's gonna be some super virus that's gonna, like, we are so afraid. To be fair, it's still in the back of my head,
right?
And I definitely clean up.
It's a good idea to be, yeah, because like we're not dealing with like super fresh chicken meat that is just okay. Like if we buy a chicken at the grocery store,
I'm not eating that raw.
We are not eating that raw, but.
But if it's at the restaurant and they know what they're doing, somebody says
definitely.
here, I remember the Simpsons episode where Homer eats part of the fish that was poisonous. It's exactly that. Like, you're not getting a puffer fish and preparing that at home.
Yeah.
You are not doing that, because you are going to die.
Yeah, that is a more likelihood of dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that's like a deadly poison.
Yeah.
I don't think raw chicken is that deadly poison, but you could be very sick.
Yeah, unless they know what they're doing.
Right.
So you go to the they know what they're doing place, and you get it there.
And the thing is, like, it's delicious. It's actually very, very good. You put it with wasabi and like sometimes seaweed and stuff. It's delicious. So I enjoy that myself. Yeah. But a lot of people that we suggest, like, oh, that might be something you can't get in your country, and suggest it, and they'll be like, absolutely not.
Yeah. Nomad Curl. I have not been persuaded by the no salmonella in Japan statements that people make here.
No. We don't make that statement. Yeah. It's just that salmonella exists, but if there are ways to eat, it's the same thing with raw fish. You're not gonna buy a fish at the supermarket and eat it like raw. You're supposed to cook it.
Yeah.
But if the things sold as even in supermarkets they sell sashimi and stuff where you can eat it raw, but like in regular fish section that you are supposed to cook the food, you're not going to buy that fish and then eat it raw. It's the same thing with chicken too. There are salmonellas, but it's certain ways you can make sure that you're not taking in salmonella.
Yeah, Nomad Crow, what about raw eggs or eggs over rice? Safe or no-go? Raw eggs, no problem. I eat raw eggs all the time.
Yeah, I don't eat it myself, but
yeah,
it's safe.
Perfectly safe.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I make cocktails for Risa, and oftentimes the recipe calls for, like, an egg white. Yeah. And, like, it's, the egg white goes in the cocktail, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
So even in the West, you guys are consuming raw eggs.
Yeah. So I'm not afraid of the raw eggs. Raw eggs on rice is good. That's practically the only way I eat raw eggs. But yeah, there's a lot of raw egg on rice in my life. All right. Well, there you go.
That's a lot of food talk.
It's good food talk. People want to know, if you come to Japan, come with an open mind. There's a lot of food here you might not see. Horse is the one that Americans... I don't think horse is legal in America. But in Europe and, like, really the rest of the world, horse is kind of normal. Not as normal as, like, a steak or anything like that, but it's often on the menu. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go. Nicholas Vilpu says, I love raw liver. Too bad you can't get it anymore unless you know a guy. Is that the case here?
Yeah, I think maybe a few years ago there was, like, an issue with, like... food poisoning.
I see.
So that doesn't, like, I understand this is not giving you confidence in raw chicken theory, but
Japan, I'm just gonna say that the way Japan operates often is, it happened once somewhere, one thing happened bad once, cancel it, it's over. We're never gonna allow this again. Like, they are very, like, they're very quick to respond to certain things.
And very slow to bring it back. Like, for instance, the lack of garbage cans.
Yeah.
They're not bringing it back. Obviously, they're, like, train stations and whatnot, like, they're not necessarily bringing it back because it costs to operate, like, make sure that the garbage is clean and stuff like that. But it happened when I was, like...
Well, they need a little context for this. So in Japan, the chances of you finding a public garbage can is slim to none. There are, like, I'm not saying there are none. I'm not saying that there aren't any, but a public trash can on the street, almost
It's
non-existent.
rare. Like the busiest places, like for instance, the Harajuku, busy intersection, they have the trash cans.
A couple,
I think in Shibuya, like the Harajuku area, there's a bunch. Shinjuku as well. But it's and a lot of like actually the JR stations have them, like bigger stations. I think because there's enough people going, in and out, and like maybe a trash is an issue. So when there's like a lot of people, like a lot of random people, I think they have to put that there. But in general, like in local areas, like most of even like a city part, it's just in general, you don't see it like you see it in America, where like every corner of the street has trash can. So
when you come here, oftentimes you go to the convenience store, you buy your Fami chicken, you've got a bag of chips and a strong zero, and you're walking down the street having a great time, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm done with all this. What do I do with it? And the answer is you're going to put that in some kind of bag that you have, and you're going to carry it around all day with you until you get home, because you're not going to find a garbage can. You might be able to get rid of the can, because there are like can receptacles. Those are way more common.
Yes.
But like just an actual place to dump your trash.
Yeah, it really depends. Like large parks also have garbage cans. Anyway, it's just like I think it's just a matter of like if it's busy enough, maybe they'll put it because it's worth it. But otherwise, they would not do that because it's a public safety hazard.
Yeah, basically one time in the 90s, there was a terrorist attack in Tokyo, and they utilized the garbage cans, and they're like, okay, no more garbage cans. And to be fair, no terrorism on the garbage cans ever since. Problem solved.
I don't know if that's a true statement, honestly. But.
Problem solved. But that's just what they do here. So, if there's sort of a problem that they feel is like something they can jump on, they will jump on it real quick.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So,
but yeah, they act on it quickly if it also helps financially.
Right. There's probably a big financial reason. Like, we don't want to collect your trash anymore. Mm-hmm. That's, to be honest, that's probably the real reason. But
that's probably the reason that they're not bringing it back.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. Right. Sergeant Sluggle. The same reason we have to take our shoes off to fly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great
example.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm not going to get into my thoughts on that. But yeah, it is. Though, you know what I have to say? I'm going to get into my little thoughts about it. I am a little annoyed that every airport seemingly has their different policies on shoes on or off. And it annoys the crap.
Laptop in and out.
Yeah. And it just annoys the crap out of me, because generally nowadays the tone is, if you have like shoes that like go under your ankle, that either if they cover your ankle, you got to take them off. If they don't cover your ankle, you could keep them on. Mm-hmm. That's usually the rule nowadays. Now some places or whatever. Okay, fine. So, you might be in line, and then you got the guy at the counter yelling at you, take off your shoes! Take off your shoes! And, like, they'll have a sign where it's like, like, that's the rule. Like, I'm like, they're not covering my ankle. Take off your shoes! I'm like, okay, whatever you say. And you start taking your laptop out of your bag, they're like, leave it in! I'm like, God damn it, man. Stop yelling at me. I just hate it when they're yelling at you. And I'm like, I travel... I'm going to say, you work at the airport, but I travel way more than you. And you have to understand that every rule, every airport, even in your country, has different rules. And so...
And assuming that we know the rules, especially when they don't actually, spell it out for you. Like, we're waiting in line this entire time. You could have just, had a list of things that we needed to do on paper, or, just presenting to us that we would be ready.
Yeah, or just say it nicely.
Yeah.
Everyone, I just wanted to let you guys know when you get up there, you got to take off your shoes and you can keep your electronics in your bag.
Yeah.
That's it.
I just want all of the rules to be presented to me in a very, obvious manner so that I can follow your instructions and everybody would be happy. You wouldn't be stressed about it because, everybody knows the rules.
Yeah. Nomad Crow says, I feel like it comes down to airport security not knowing their own policy.
Yes.
I'm going to say it's 100%.
Yeah.
I remember one time Risa and I were traveling during COVID and we were at a security screening area and we were literally the only ones there. Okay? And I don't know why, but they had 13 people behind this monitor that the carry-on baggage was going through, and they're all just staring at it. And I'm like, can we hurry this up just a little bit? How much do you need to look at my stinky socks? Is just all of you can't figure this out, and I'm just standing in line here like a goon. I'm like, they're like, no, don't go. We're analyzing that bag. I'm just like, all right. Thank goodness it takes this many of you to figure that out. Anyhow, I love you guys at the airport. You guys are real wonderful, doing a great job. Mm-hmm. Nicholas Philpu says Haneda seems to be the easiest. Haneda, yes, Haneda, Japan, that airport you get through smooth, fast. Same thing with Narita. I really like the smoothness of it.
Also
McCarran Airport in Las Vegas, best airport in America. It is the staff there are nice. Every time I go there, hey, how's it going? All right, can I get your passport? They're so pleasant to you. They're really nice. And shout outs to McCarran Airport, Las Vegas, Nevada. They've always been very welcoming whenever you're going in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it's just there's a lot of people standing around, so I don't know how efficient it is, but they seem to all on the same page. They're not conflicts of policies that
right.
I feel like they're all on the same page. And also on domestic flights, you can bring in bottles of drinks and stuff like that. So it's actually not that restrictive.
Yeah. So there you go. A little bit of off-topic conversations, traveling, what to do. Anyways, everybody come and visit. Despite airport security and the hassles they give you, still come to Japan and visit here because sooner than later, we may have a new HQ. Because yesterday, we saw two really good spots in Yokohama. Mm-hmm. Two really good spots in Yokohama. Last week, we saw some okay spots in Yokohama. Things are, I think, going our way in the Yokohama land. Would you agree?
Yes. I'm very loving the idea of this, one of the new spots that we saw yesterday.
Well, we could talk about it.
Okay, so we were, last time we were in Yokohama, not yesterday, but the time before, we were walking around and, we saw some offices. It was oh, okay, whatever. And, we kind of came across a really, really old building. Sorry. And, it was just it was rented out to a clothing store and, there was no opening there. And it was actually wasn't the right building in terms of all the things that it had. But we just really liked the idea of being in a very historic old building. It has the charm that all the new offices, it's just it's very it does the job. If it's clean, no problem, but it doesn't have the emotional excitement when you walk in there. And we felt that with this old building, and so I kind of did my research on to what kind of old buildings that are available to rent for businesses in that area. And we found one that is registered as a historic building in Yokohama. And it's affordable. It's built in 1936, so it's a almost 90-year-old building. It has a very nice old,
brass everything, and these old big wooden doors with glass windows,
and painted on probably 50 times already. it is just like higher ceiling than the modern buildings. Anyway, so we really liked it. It's a little bit on the smaller side.
Yeah.
So that might be something we need to work out.
Something we have to consider. And then just around the corner from that spot was a brand new building.
Yeah.
With a little bit more than double the space. And basically double the price also. But it was more, it still had the concrete, everything. We'd probably have to change the floors to make them to like wooden floors because they were carpeted. But, you have this modern building with lots of space. And I would say a little less soul to it. But way more space to do activities. And then you have the smaller location, which has a lot more soul in it. But less room for activities. And it's kind of I'm not sure which way to go here.
I'm very tempted towards Wome.
Right. I'm sitting on the fence here. Mm-hmm. So like the problem for us right now is a good problem is that we both like things, right? Like we're in a situation where things are looking great and I think it'll be anyhow, we'll probably have to make a decision relatively soon unless something else pops up in Yokohama land, but I'm really liking it. The area that we're in, Nomad Cross's Red Brick Warehouse, Yokohama, it's actually really close to it. Probably like a 5-minute walk, maybe more than 5-minute walk away, but an easy walk away from there. So it's something that's relatively easily accessible from like Shibuya. Maybe it'll take you like 35 minutes on the train, like one train. What do you think? How long did it take us from Harajuku to get out there?
Well, we took a local train, so it took a long time. But I think on a local train, it will take about 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes. Okay. So on the express, they do skip quite a bit in certain portion of the line. So maybe 30. Yeah. 30, 35. Yeah.
But it's also somewhere where you want to visit. Because, this whole area, there's beautiful parks and gardens and Chinatowns around the corner. And,
the amount of space out there and also just, there's a lot of, modern malls and, kind of commercial areas.
There's an amusement park.
Yeah. And, I don't necessarily want to be, super close to that. But at the same time, there's just, it's abundance of space, and also because it's ocean on one side, so obviously a lot of emptiness in the sky, a bigger sky, but also the flowers, all this gardens, not they're parks, but they're really nicely kept gardens with a bunch of nice flowers and plants and
bring your kids, bring your wife, it's gonna be amazing. It's going to be beautiful.
Yes.
And so it's very much worth the trip. And we met with some friends yesterday, and I easily pointed out to them, when you come out here, you don't see a lot of foreigners. If you're in Shibuya, Harajuku, Shinjuku, Ginza, if you're in central Tokyo, you're obviously in Tokyo, but everywhere you turn, you see foreign faces, and that's not a bad thing, right? But it's just I just feel when you go somewhere, you kind of want to feel away from home. If you come from New York City, Toronto, these are very multicultural cities. You come to Tokyo, it feels on the ground. I mean, obviously there's more Asian faces, but you feel there's a lot of people you just feel like you're in tourist land, Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel a lot of people come to Japan because they want to get that Japanese experience, and if you go to Yokohama, you can get some of those hustle and bustle. You get a lot of those hustle and bustle areas, but it's you don't see a lot of foreign tourists there. Yeah. So,
you just don't see a lot of people there, and in general, maybe in the mall area, yes, but there's just so much space. Yeah. So much space, waterfront, that you have, you're not walking like this ever.
Yeah, never.
Which is a very nice thing. Yeah. And also, because it's a port town, it has all kinds of cool industrial looking, buildings, the old buildings. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah. Nicholas Vilpu says, what's the closest station?
Bashamichi.
Bashamichi.
Yeah. So Bashamichi. It means horse carriage road.
There you go. I'm sure there were some horse carriages there at some point. And And Nomad Crow says, make sure to test for asbestos and lead-based paint before you renovate. Right, we want to make sure that there's more asbestos.
It's been renovated a few times, and we're not allowed to like really renovate. So I don't know if we can like dig through the ceiling to find asbestos, but we might have asbestos. I mean, we've all grown up with asbestos. I'm fine.
Just leave it. Yeah, I don't know what to do. But no, you're not wrong. And Nomad says, will you guys be building out the interior or will you hire a crew? I'm not building anything.
You can't build.
I'm not.
But the only thing, like, if we move into like an old building, the only thing you can do is to do the floors.
Yeah.
Like, we're not allowed to touch, because it's like a historic building. You're not allowed to touch like the actual
fixtures,
structures,
yeah.
and all those things. And even in the new building that we're, the other option we're considering, like, the ceiling is fine. Like, it's all skeletonized. It's all, like, concrete.
Yeah, matches this aesthetic quite nice.
Yeah, but even, like, cleaner because, they
polished
finished
it
to look like it's
like a finished concrete.
Yeah.
Like ours here is very raw, as you can see, but
Right.
like some places you'll see it's like polished and really nice.
Yeah.
So like that place has that. It's carpeted floors, and we would rather have like wood floors. So we'd hire somebody to put in some like herringbone or something with like beautiful patterned wood floors. And yeah, I think that would be the way to go. If we're really for either both spaces, we really would prefer to have wooden floors. Yeah.
Carpet tiles are not the way to go.
No, the carpet tiles in Japan are very common because it's cheap.
It's the office.
Yeah. But they're everywhere. Junior says, "Bring your own asbestos." That's right. We're gonna bring our own. Quebec was even. I don't think it's anymore. I think it was a long time ago. But there's a town called Asbestos, Quebec, where they used to mine asbestos, and even after it was like banned in North America, other countries still used it. So they just mined asbestos, and like Canada was a big exporter of asbestos for a long time.
How was that? Like, if it's banned to use it in buildings, how is it like allowed to?
I don't know, and I can only imagine like the health
population,
the population of that town, and the health of the world. Like, I'm sure everyone's dead. Like, maybe because it's a long time ago and everyone's dead, but like I'm sure their health like problems were
cancer rate.
Oh my god, it was probably through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one.
Interesting.
Ooh.
But like when I lived in the States, like it wasn't like a particularly super old building. So it was just like, apartment complex, and our lunch. I don't think our homes had it, but like our laundry room, like common laundry area, had the sign that says like, they found asbestos here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
What can I do about it? Yeah. It's just it's one of those things. Obviously, old buildings you're gonna find some.
Yeah,
old
and they're not
stuff in
like
it.
freaking out immediately. So, my idea of asbestos is like, it's like it's better to avoid it. Like, X-ray and stuff like that. Like, you don't want to be in there all the time, but just a little bit. Right.
It gives you superpowers. If I've learned nothing from Marvel Comics, is that radiation makes you stronger. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just ask. Anyhow, I'm not going to say it. Nicholas Vilpu says, did you guys say near Basha Michi Station? My shoe cobbler is near there. Lots of cool old buildings.
Yes,
we did.
Shoe cobbler.
Yeah, it's all like all the buildings around there.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yep.
It's very old. The amazing thing about this old building, I'm telling you, this old building, sorry, but is that it has a rooftop, and it's a very like 4-story building, I think. So it's a very low building amongst the bigger buildings around there. But like when you get up there, like you see like across the street is like a museum, which has
like a copper rooftop that's all like oxidized.
It's just amazing
Yeah.
view. It kind of feels like, I'm in Europe.
Yeah.
It's
so. We've got some figuring out to do, but we are closer than ever before to switching up our office situation, and have the idea is that we can do all of our operations out of there, photos, content creation, shipping, all the stuff we need to do on like a, the boring stuff. And then also have a place for, people who come to Japan to come and visit and shop. So it won't be like a full-on retail store, but, if you email us or maybe we'll set up something that you can make an appointment, you can come in and you can shop in person and see it that way. So, we get emails every single day. I'm coming to Japan, where can I find it? I'm coming to Japan, where can I find it? And, we do sell to one shop here in Tokyo, but they only carry our white t-shirts. And even then, they're sold out. Stock is inconsistent. So we just want to have a consistent place. And I'll say, like, furthermore, the reason why, like, I'd say retail in Japan is a difficult, it's its own unique beast. Mm-hmm. Because in the West, there's a lot more independent retailers. Mm-hmm. So, but in Japan, there's a lot like just significantly less of it. Like the big retailers really run the game here, and like you might not even realize that the store you're shopping at is actually part of a giant retail conglomeration because it looks like an independent retailer. But the thing is, like, so the way that these companies work is like you have these sort of department stores, but the department stores also have like a million of their own brands. So they and oftentimes they'll like license a bunch of American brands or Western brands. So like you think that, oh yeah, they carry like, this American brand or that American brand or this European brand. And it's like, no, they actually just have the license for it. And like there's a Japanese team of designers that design the whole collection for the Japanese market. And they have these multi-brand stores, which aren't actually, I mean, technically they are, but they're all under this umbrella of this one company. So they're not going to bring in other brands, independent brands, because like, number one, what's the point? We're just going to sell our own stuff. So you have all these giant conglomerations of department stores that have their own brands, that fill the stores up with their own stuff, which is all well and good and fine. It's just like, people ask us, like, why don't you sell this store? Why don't you sell that store? I'm like, they have their own brand of knitwear, and they're not really interested in not selling that. Mm-hmm. So it makes it hard to get into some of these places. So, a lot of independent brands here in Japan, they just have to open their own stores and
deal with like million smaller stores, which is a strategy. I think a lot of people do that. But, with us being like, such a small company, we can't work that inefficiently on the wholesale side. So that's why there's a little bit of a limitation here. And, we're not against big stores. They do have the power and they do have the eyes for things. It's just like, if you're not on their like direct radar, like it's just hard, because I would say that they would much prefer working with already existing, like even if like it's not a retailer, there's like a lot of companies that run brands. Like they don't have a retail store, but they have a good relationship with the massive retailers, and that they have multiple brands that they can buy from. Yeah. So it's like, it's easier to just deal with one company that has everything set up already and pick from their things. So there's a benefit in being part of that whole thing. Obviously, we're independent. We're the owner operators. Yeah. So it's a little bit difficult to. We just feel like there's a little bit of a disadvantage here, and it's not like it's not their fault. We're not unhappy about it. It's just a different way of doing business, and from that perspective, it's I think to answer like customers' questions about like, hey, I'm coming to Japan, where can I shop? The best and easiest way for us to offer the wide selection of our products is to
just do it
ourselves rather than like trying to open an account who carry two styles,
Right. Yeah. And then I guess the other balance is, just making sure that whatever we're spending on rent is going to get, maximalized in terms of its use, right? It's one thing to have, when we were looking in Tokyo, it's like, some of the rents for like a good location, they're through the roof, and it's like the amount that you have to sell in order to just maintain, just to cover the rent. It's a lot, and it's like what's the point if I if you're selling all this stuff and all you're doing is paying the landlord, what's the point of that, right? So, we definitely have to find a balance. And I think even if we were to like expand into like a full-on retail stores, like we're going to go to places where the rent is going to be much more affordable. And that might mean not being in like the most central locations, but at the same time, I feel like, people, like much of our audience is international. And when you come to Japan, you like to do a little of exploring. So I don't mind having it a little bit off the beaten path. Not like, it's going to be a real problem. That's why I like Yokohama, where it's like, yes, it's not central Tokyo, and I know everyone's going to central Tokyo, but this is a really nice day. Like, if we send you out to Yokohama, you're going to enjoy this day trip. This is something you're going to enjoy. You're going to come to Yokohama. You're going to see, everything that it has to offer.
It's well worth the trip. That takes you maybe 30-40 minutes. Yeah.
Which isn't far. It's not far. Like, going from one side of Tokyo to the other, like going to Disneyland takes longer from central Tokyo than it would take to get to Yokohama.
Because Tokyo Disneyland is not technically in Tokyo.
Well, there you go. So, anyhow, BD says, currently daydreaming with Miss BD about a trip to Japan. Please come. Just keep an eye out on those flights. Sometimes the Air Canada sometimes they've got some good deals. And let me tell you, direct flights from Toronto, 2 a day. 2 direct flights a day. One goes to Haneda, one goes to Narita. Narita is further away from Tokyo.
Closer to Disneyland.
Yeah, but closer to Disneyland. So it'll take you like an hour and a half. Like that's the annoying part, is like when you hit Narita,
it's still a little bit of a trip.
Yeah. But Haneda, you're basically in Tokyo. Like, it'll take you like 40 minutes from the airport to like getting into town. So just keep that in mind. Every now and then they've got some deals. Avoid March. Every other month is great. March is the worst. January, February is okay.
March is the worst because of weather?
The weather.
Okay.
The weather is terrible. It is such an...
It can be like either still very, very cold.
Yeah.
If you're aiming for sakura, cherry blossom season, you have to consider like the end of March to beginning of April. But end of March could be still very freezing. Like this past March, end of March, was freezing.
And rainy. Gray, rainy. You're not going to see the sun.
There's a lot of rain, yeah.
So April, May, June, fantastic. July, August, you're going to sweat. September, October, perfect.
Yeah, but June, July, also rainy season.
Yeah.
But at least it's not like a freezing rain.
Right. And then November, if you're coming from Canada, it's a blessing, because while it might be cold here, it's like 17, 18 degrees. Yeah. So you feel like when you come from Canadian November, you land in Japan in November, you're just like, wow, it's summer all over again. So November and December are not terribly cold. If you're coming from a cold climate, you'll feel like it's quite nice.
Yeah. The best month, if I were to pick the best month, it would be May and October.
Yeah.
May and October.
I think, October. Yeah. I'll grant you. May and October, the best months. April, September, second best months.
September is still quite very hot.
Still, it's less terrible.
It's less humidity, maybe.
Stomp says, when flying Air Canada, the real fare is if you'll get your checked luggage back. LOL. I have to say, in defense of Air Canada, I've had very few bad experiences with them.
They have never lost a bag.
No, I've never. And we've flown a lot. Never lost a bag. European Airlines? Sure. Stupid European Airlines. Air Canada has never, ever lost a bag. Yeah, I've never had a problem with Air Canada. I'm thinking of all my experiences with Air Canada, never had a bad one.
Yeah. And relatively speaking, obviously the transfer causes a lot of baggage lost. But, we used to fly through Toronto, from Montreal through Toronto to Japan all of the time, and they never lost a baggage.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think it's just one of these things. Everybody, experience is going to be a little bit different, but
one bad experience ruins the whole thing for sure.
Absolutely. But I feel like on the news, every time there's like it's just one of these common like, oh, let's hate the airlines. Like it's just a common, and there's a lot to hate. To be fair, there's a lot to hate, but from all the flights that I've taken, all the different airlines,
it's pretty high level.
Yeah.
Like, as a North American airline, I think Canada might be the best.
Yeah. I have to also say that, like, I don't fly Delta domestically in America all that often, but, like, Delta international flights, I find them to be very good.
Really?
Like, yeah.
I don't think I've ever flown.
The food is good. The screens are big. Like, the chairs are comfortable. Like,
I don't know.
Delta international,
maybe they turned around.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had some bad experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception.
Yeah. Air France?
Air France is not ideal.
Not ideal. Not ideal. And then, like, all these, like, European low-cost carriers, every time you think, you're like, hey, I'm going to save some money, and you're just like, oh, I really should have paid that extra $50. Like, I remember one time Brandon and I, we got on a flight, we were going to Paris, and from Montreal. And usually we fly Air Canada, I don't know, whatever it was. It's just like, whenever Fashion Week hits,
it's very crowded.
It's crowded, because, like, everybody's going.
One flight, basically. Yeah.
Right, so we had to fly with some European low-cost carrier to, like, Paris. I forget which airline it was. And, like, when Brandon booked it, he was like, yo, on their website, they proudly say the most seats in any airline. Like, and, like, we get on the plane, and I forget what the configuration was, but it was tight. And me and Brandon are sitting, this is like, 15 years ago, me and Brandon. So, like, we're pretty skinny guys. And, like, we're squished. And I'm just like, And, like, and they're bragging about the amount of seats they have on this thing. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess you got to turn, like, lemons into lemonade. But Jesus Christ, it was just an awful, like, squinched experience the whole time.
Yeah.
Nomad Crow says, I always try to fly Japanese internationally if possible, JAL or ANA. We do too. Like, if we can, the only problem is JAL and ANA, sometimes their prices compared to, like, some other international airlines are really high. Well, and so sometimes you got to be like, am we going to spend that much extra for, like, I'm going to say guaranteed comfort?
Could this be?
Yeah, who could this be? John Chen says, Singapore Airlines is my preferred airline. U.S. carriers are the worst. A lot of Asian airlines are very strong, I have to say.
They have the... I can say it because I'm a woman. They have the prettiest cabin attendants. For sure.
They do that on purpose.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
It's just still like the Pan Am days of America where, so have to look nice.
I didn't want to say it, but you said it. Yes. And it's like the Asian airlines, 100%. They're just like, you gotta look like what people imagine a flight attendant or a cabin crew, like, you gotta look the part.
Yes. Yeah. And there's, age limitations for sure as well. Yeah. Which, I mean, in this day and age, maybe it's not the appropriate way to approach that, but it is it's nice to look at some, pretty people.
Right. Right. But anyhow, that aside, some people, they rag on Air Canada. I'm going to be the guy who's going to say, no, they're good. They're good. By and large, good. Staff is good.
Food is
good. And anytime I've ever had a problem, which has been very minimal, like usually the problems you get are like flights canceled, flights delayed. And like even then, it's just like, okay, here's a food voucher. Like I'd say that we fly enough that we're like gold status. So, at least we have access to the lounge and things like that. But, like one thing I like, some people freak out if you're on a flight and your flight gets maybe canceled, they have to rebook you. And like people get freaked out about that rebooking process. But it's like the airline is going to rebook you. Like you don't have to worry about it. it's already happening in the back end. You're going to get an email either like immediately, or if it's like a major like cancellation, like, sometimes like, oh, you'll be at an airport and like, clearly that blizzard is really bad. And there's no chance in hell that we're flying out right now. That is not happening. And like, I'll be in the airport, like, I just remember, like, we'll be in Paris and like you get 2 centimeters of snow, which for them is major blizzard. And I'm like, yeah, we're not leaving. We're gonna chill right here in the airport. And you have these people freaking out, calling, oh, how can I get on a different flight? I'm like, what are you doing? Like, look outside. Nobody's going anywhere. We're just gonna relax right here.
I mean,
okay?
they do get the bad, like, it's not fair that they can't control the weather, and they're putting safety first, which they are supposed to do. So I feel bad that like people get really annoyed at airlines for not, for canceling their flights and stuff like that. Yes, it's inconvenient, but you would rather be safe than dead.
Yeah.
So it's, like they're doing you a favor in a way, and it's just something they have to deal with. I feel bad.
Yeah.
But they do also sometimes cancel flights for no apparent reason. They don't explain it to us. And, we're supposed to take it. So they're also that.
Yeah. There's definitely also that. Like, I'm not saying it's all roses and everything, but I would say that there's a bit of inexperience in some people's, like, traveling that leads them to have like irrational thoughts about the situation. Whereas like if you've done a lot of this, you kind of know the process, and it's really nothing that.
That's always a possibility. You have to plan your life around the possibility of your flight being canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Nicholas Vilpu, American Airlines moved my seat away from my 10-year-old son as I arrived to the airport on my last flight back.
That is
Japan.
not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool.
But I'm sure you just talked to passengers and they would probably help you out.
Right.
But
yeah, I don't like when they do that.
Shouldn't do that. Yeah.
Also, lately, to bash the airlines a little bit, here's what I don't like. Oh yeah, pay $10 to pick your seat.
Yes.
And I'm like,
any seat.
You know what? Oh, you could have we'll assign your seat for you, or if you want to sign seats, you can pay $10. I'm just like,
yeah. Like
I
clearly don't want to be separated from the people that I'm traveling with.
Right. And I'm not willing to risk it.
Yes.
Right?
But it's like, that's just like, I'm not choosing the seat because it has more leg room.
Yeah.
Like, it's
they know what they're doing. Yeah. They know how to nickel and dime you. And I really despise that. And I'm sure they make gajillions of dollars doing it. But I despise it. And like, I would say that the reason why people are very quick to dump on airlines is because you do scummy crap like that. Mm-hmm. That's it. If you cut out the scummy crap, I think more people will be like, yeah, it was the weather, right? Instead of, something in their mind, making the situation worse. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, that's my opinions on that. Right. Okay. Let's.
This entire live stream has been about traveling in Japan and.
Yeah, everybody come to Japan. Come travel here. Let's hit the like button, everybody. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already, because we're going to be talking about what BD has just brought up. Do you have any new releases coming up soon? We do. And we've got some announcements around that. So I know there's a couple of you who haven't hit that like button yet. So do it right now. And we're going to get into release time.
First things first, we have the good news of receiving the indigo dyed double heavyweight t-shirt.
Coming.
Yeah. Well, next week we're able to ship the orders that, the pre-orders that you guys placed. So you would probably receive it. If lucky, maybe you will receive it by the end of the week next week.
Yeah, so by the upcoming Friday.
Yes.
So chances are that we will ship them all out on Monday. I think the delivery's arriving basically after the live stream. We're going to go to the warehouse, pack some orders.
It's either today or Monday. It could be arriving on Monday. So in that case, we may not be able to ship all of it on Monday. But, by Tuesday, we should be able to finish the shipping. if you didn't order embroidery. Embroidery will take maybe an extra a week or two, depending on how many. I should know how many there are, but please be patient about that. But yeah, so that's coming up for those of you who pre-ordered. And for the new release, it will be the Ultimate Pima tsuriami t-shirt and Foxfibre tsuriami t-shirts. Those are repeats, but it's this season's batch. And then we are also introducing the long sleeve double heavyweight t-shirts in white, black, and heather gray. Yeah. So we previously released the Ikuru and Sumi colored long sleeve double heavyweight t-shirts, but this time it's coming back in the more classic colors, white, black, and heather gray. Yeah. I'm going to sneeze.
Okay, so Risa's gonna sneeze. So that whole release group of products is gonna be released on April the 30th, Wednesday, April...
Wait. Okay, so there's a caveat to that, though.
Don't caveat anything. Caveat it after.
Okay.
Okay, so Wednesday, April 30th. So it's a Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So it's an evening release for the West. It's going to be a morning release for us, but an evening release for you guys, just to spread things out a little bit. We do morning releases. Sometimes we'll do evening releases just to make it... I know some people are not awake. Maybe they're at work, they're busy, whatever. 7 p.m. Eastern makes it, I think, easier for a different group of people to have easier access. So we're just mixing it up there. Now, caveat time.
This is a big caveat because we can't 100% commit to the 30th release at this point. We're still waiting for the Foxfibre tsuriami t-shirts to arrive, which is experiencing some difficulties and delays in the production side. So we are, if everything goes as smoothly as possible at this point, then we can release it all on the 30th. If not, what is going to happen is that we're going to have to delay the release a little bit because we have to make sure that our retail partners will get their share of the booked units before we release it. So just to give them enough time, we may have to push it back. But at this point, best case scenario is the 30th. So we're saying 30th, but it's possible that it may not happen.
I just know the good Lord is going to bless us with proper timing.
Yeah. And usually we only announce the release dates once we get the goods in hand because a lot of things can happen in production and it's often delayed than early. It's just never really.
Yeah, it's never early.
Or it never actually is according to the plan most of the time. Yeah. Even in Japan. Japan has probably the least of those problems, but still it could happen. So... yes, that's why I'm a little concerned because we don't have it in hand right now.
Yeah. But. So you see the difference between us. I'm
more cautious.
Way more cautious. I'm just like, so this is a good balance of things, obviously, but it may sometimes lead to inconsistent messaging.
Yes, but you guys get both of our takes, so you can, prepare your
expectation.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. I hope that makes sense. Any questions? You know where to ask us, and that place is right here in the live chat. Milo says, "Is there a spot on your site now to pre-order the double heavyweight indigo?"
No.
Not yet. Well, not yet because the next time we'll do this indigo dye is probably in the fall. So, this is looking like maybe something we'll do twice a year.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We haven't really set the schedule on it. Whenever we feel like it's the right time, it's at the right time. But yeah, we will bring it back. It's just we haven't decided on when.
Yeah. And then Milo also follows up. Are your fingers examples of indigo? Your nails?
No,
No.
just blue.
Beautiful. Risa is a nail art master.
No.
She's very good at it.
It's my hobby.
Yeah, and so just her does her nails. Vince Chan says, good news, I received all of my new stationery after our talk from 2 weeks ago. The metal lead pencil refill is top notch.
Nice.
I'm glad to hear it. Pat, I gotta show it off because it's right there. This is the greatest lead pencil majigger. No, the lead pencil, the metal one. That thing. This thing is, oh my god. If you like lead pencils, buy this thing.
Lead pencils?
Yeah, because
Like
you need
mechanical pencils.
yeah, mechanical pencil.
Is an old pencil?
Technically,
lead?
it's not lead; it's graphite, but we call them lead. But mechanical, if you need something to store your little leads, which aren't actually lead, but they're graphite, but we call it lead anyways. The action on this uni contraption is top notch, just top tier. You got to buy one of these.
Is it uni or uni?
Uni. I never went to university, so I don't know. I've just got one of those public education level reading levels. So there you have it.
To be fair, I don't know. I might be wrong. It's a brand name.
Uni.
I think it's uni.
Uni. It could be uni.
It could be. I'm
Okay.
just asking.
I'm not sure, but that brand right there, spelled UNI, they make this beautiful contraption, and it has a great action here, all metal, and a nice snappy sound. There you go. Okay. Stomp says, Bahzad's hoodie looks plush. Double heavyweight crew. It's going to be plush. It's a thick boy. Ooh, this is a good question. Peter Cow says, which t-shirt do you reach for more, Foxfibre or Pima? Oh.
I was just thinking that. Okay.
Okay, you answer.
So probably the t-shirt that I wear the most is the white Ultimate Pima t-shirt. Mm-hmm. Just because it's a white t-shirt, it just goes with everything and all of the outfits. So I think I wear that the most, and also it's just like the right way to layer, and when it's hot out, it's perfect. But I do like the Foxfibre tsuriami t-shirts because the color is just amazing, and it does add more interestingness to the outfit. I think out of all Ultimate Pima black, white, and Foxfibre, I wear the black Ultimate Pima the least because we have cats, and then get covered in
cat fuzz.
Yeah, we have white cats, so I think that's those two.
Yeah, it's tough. I go through waves, and it's like there'll be a wave where I'm just wearing Ultimate Pima t-shirts, and like you, I wear the white more than I wear the black. It's the fur thing, because if I wear the black, in 2 seconds I'm covered in fur, and at home it's fine, but if I have to go out, it's a whole thing. And then the Foxfibre t-shirt, again, it's when I'm in the mood for Foxfibre tees, that's what I'm wearing. So I don't know which one I actually reach for the most lately. It's sort of, I'm in Pima mode, and then I put those on, and then I might be in Foxfibre mode. If I graphed it, I'm sure one would be more than the other. Maybe.
Well, you have more.
I have more white Ultimate Pima
you have
tees.
3 of them.
Yeah, so I probably wear those more because white tees are white tees. But I do wear the Foxfibre t-shirt a lot. I wear it a lot, and lately ELS tees, I'm wearing them a lot. They're easy to put on. They're comfortable. Yesterday I was wearing triple heavyweight. In the winter time, I wore a lot of double heavyweight. It's all kind of whatever I'm in the mood for that week. I really if I'm wearing something, I just wear it all the time until I finally change,
Yeah.
And then my uniform sort of just changes to like that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the mid Foxfibre color, the 70B, it is a nice color, but it's not. Oh, sometimes like I actually put it on today underneath the zip hoodie, and it was just kind of like a little bit like skin color to me. So it's like it depends on the outfit, like what other colors you're wearing and stuff like that, and how you're styling it. But speaking of which, we now are in the fall. We're gonna have 2 more colors of Foxfibre t-shirts.
Yeah.
So I'm excited how much like more Foxfibre tees I can wear with all these like different
tones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this is obviously like it's still brown, but it's closer to white. It doesn't put too much like in your face kind of color. It's kind of like maybe somewhere between ecru and brown.
Right.
Beautiful color. And then we got this like the dark iron mordant color, which is like on its own, the color is just like fantastic. It is definitely not something you can get out of a dyed color. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of different variations in tone in there as well.
Seeds and stuff. It's,
very, very handsome color. So that's coming in the fall. The classic Fox Brown 70B, this is what's going to be restocking soon.
Yeah.
So a lot more Foxfibre stuff in the pipeline. Okay, Milo says, do you have something you can hold up that is your indigo color? Oh, the indigo. Oh, no, you know what? We don't have them here. We have samples of the indigo dyed T-shirts, like the 4 tones, but we sent the samples to the dye house.
Just hasn't returned.
Yeah, so those will be coming back. When we sent the production, like the blank tees, we also sent the samples of the dyed tees, just so they have a reference of the previous tones. But that we'll get back when we have the production back. Stephen Kopelkev says, I'd like an ultimate Pima Foxfibre blend, an ultimate Fox, if you will. So the Foxfibre tees, when they are blended, they are often blended with ultimate Pima. Yeah. So it actually already is.
Yeah. There's no such thing as 100% Foxfibre yarn. I mean, like not in the currently available lineup. So like our t-shirt that is going to come out in a few weeks is Fox 70. So that means 70% Foxfibre. And because Foxfibre is relatively like a shorter staple cotton, we have to mix in with long staple cotton. And a lot of the times it's either Ultimate Pima.
Yeah.
Or, which is American organically grown extra long staple fiber, or Supima cotton, also American grown long staple fiber. Yeah. So it has that already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you already
depending on the batch and availability, it might be Supima, but it very well might be
Ultimate Pima. Yeah. So they basically just have to mix the short with the long in order to make the strong yarn that you can make fabric with. Milo says, can you post a link where I can buy those metal hangers? These hangers, we get a lot of questions about these hangers.
These are Muji. And I know that Muji in US doesn't have all of the things that the Muji in Japan
I don't think they
has,
have these in the States.
No.
These ones, they actually have these in 2 sizes. I think there's one that is a slightly bigger, like a coat hanger version of this.
But, I thought it was the smaller one. Like
or maybe it's smaller. Okay, whatever it is. There's 2 sizes of these, but these are, I think, only available in Japan. So, come to Japan, come to Muji. It's like they're like 100 yen each. They come in like a 3-pack, and I think they're like 300 yen for 3 or something like that.
It's very lightweight, so you could bring it home easily.
You can easily bring 100 of these home, and like
100.
Yeah, you need to. If you're gonna buy one, you gotta buy the whole closet.
But it takes up a lot of space.
Bring another luggage. Go to Muji, get a luggage there. They're not too expensive and they're good. And get these. These are very, very nice hangers. I would recommend them, and especially for the price because they are metal. I mean, I think they're aluminum. They look nice. They're simple, and I'm a very big fan of this hanger.
But in general, we don't recommend keeping. Like, we're doing something that we are not recommending you to do in the closet. It's best that knit item is folded and, put on a flat surface rather than being hanged because over time it stretches the shoulder part, gives you a little poke area. So, yeah.
But then again, I know, it's like there's the best policy.
Yes.
And then there's what?
Yes, we put all of our clothes in the tumble dry too.
Yeah. We abuse our clothes
between you.
But what you should do, what we do is we tell you what it takes to preserve your clothes.
Yes,
right.
The best way possible. We recommend the best way possible.
Yeah.
We're also aware that life is
it's about balance. You've got convenience and you get the best way possible. So our stuff is not going to fall apart in the washing machine or anything like that, but will it age it a little bit sooner? Yes it will. Okay, Minwa Maxim says hi. So the Fox 15 tees and Henleys are made with 85% ELS cotton.
The 15, I think it has...
it's a little bit more blended. I
don't know how many percentage exactly, but they don't need to counter like the short staple of Fox as much as obviously like 70 or 80. Yeah. So I think it has other organic cotton as well. But they only mix it with organic cotton.
Yeah. So I somewhere in my notes I actually have the breakdown of it, but it's not a 85% like ultimate pima, but there is ultimate pima or organic soup pima in there. I'm just not sure exactly. It might be a mix of ultimate pima and soup pima mixed with the Foxfibre. I'm not 100% sure.
There's if it's 15, it has some like non-ELS organic cotton in it.
Okay, so we can.
Yeah, maybe we can.
We'll get that breakdown for you.
But
but yes.
That's a good question.
It's a good question. Yeah. Okay. Don Chaco says, would be cool if the cardboard box, if any, the garments come in could be marked in a way to fold into a clothes hanger. Haha.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I get what you mean. Like you make a hanger out of a cardboard box.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. Me though, we have probably like 200 of those hangers, something like that. And then like in our closet we have like another kind of hanger. But like I'm very much like all the hangers need to match. Like it just drives me crazy when a hanger doesn't match. Like all the hangers have to be the same hanger. So like if somebody were like to give me a hanger that was outside of my hanger, like what I use, like I wouldn't use it. That's just the way I am. Mm-hmm. Okay. Stephen Kopelkamp says, are the oatmeal hoodies undyed or dyed that color? The oatmeal hoodies, the Foxfibre oatmeal.
Oh, the fleece Foxfibre?
Yeah.
Okay, well, fleece Foxfibre, inside is obviously Foxfibre undyed, and outside it's a recycled cotton yarn. So the oatmeal, it has like the little bit of I think grayish color.
Yeah.
And then the like
natural
beige, ish color. So there is dye in it. It's not fully like dye free.
Yeah.
But it's very minimal.
Yeah.
And the yarns are not dyed.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious, why Fox 15 as opposed to 25 or 45? Is it to achieve a desired color? Bingo.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just wanted to have a difference between, like a more clear difference between, the 70 color and whatever we offered. We wanted to offer something that is the lightest, but also has the Foxfibre in it.
Yeah.
And, maybe eventually when we expand our collection, we can have somewhere in between as well. But I feel like in between colors sometimes it's very close to skin color for a lot of people. So it might not be like the best looking color.
But like also like you have to, Fox 70 and like Fox 50, sometimes the color variation there is not going to be so much where you're like, well, okay, clearly that one is the one I want. Like the variation is
very subtle.
Very subtle.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that the variation was different enough that you feel like you're buying a different T-shirt.
Yeah.
And like 15 versus 25, I suppose there's some
if
argument to have there.
Like next to each other, you can tell the difference, but it may not be a room for the just like any other clothing company, they cannot make every single color in or shade in the world. But like for instance, you can look at our 70 for the T-shirt. We actually asked them to custom make a 70 blend, Fox 70 blend, so that just for like a purpose of like having a more smooth, like soft on skin feel, we went with 70 instead of 80. But in a sweatshirts, because it's not really directly touching your skin all of the time, so we were, and different structure of the fabric, it's a French terry, so we use 80 blend on the double heavyweight. But if you look at it over here, it's a very subtle difference, and that's also including the difference in different sized yarns, different structure of the fabric. So it would look different even if it's the same color, but considering that it's also 10% difference, you don't really see it so much.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Snoopy says, do the long sleeve t-shirts and hoodies tend to fit loose or more fitted? I'm 6 foot tall and about 200 pounds. I would say that our fits in general are not, this is a general statement, they're not oversized fits. Sometimes you get hoodies and things like that, they're really baggy. Like, I wouldn't say that we fall into that category, but I think if you're trying to determine sizing, take a hoodie or a sweatshirt that you like, that fits you well, and compare the measurements. So measurements, you'll find our measurement guides on each of the product page. You can see how we measure the garment, and you can do the comparison, and then you'll kind of figure out like how it'll fit on you. So yeah.
Our short sleeve t-shirts fit a tiny bit slimmer than our long sleeve t-shirts, for instance. Like we adjust the sizing based off of the cut of the fit, like the style of the products.
Right. Joey is in the house. I inherited my grandmother's pipe hanger, like a rolling rack. I think you made one. I cut, threaded, and welded for her. Now I need 50 Wonder Looper items to fill it, but honestly, I think I learned my lesson last time I went crazy. Yeah, you went crazy with the denim. Maybe you don't need 50 Wonder Looper items, but slow and steady wins the race. You can't wear everything all the time. I think you might have learned that with the jeans.
You're only one person, and you have a laundry machine, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
that many.
Yeah, just anyhow, slow and steady wins the race. We'll always have stuff, so there's no need to rush. Okay. Steven says, I'd also like to see a Fox 15 iron mordant. I can see that happening.
Yeah, but it would also again be very very subtle because there's only 15%.
Right.
Yeah.
BD says, I'm 6 feet tall, pretty broad, and about 215 pounds, and an XL tee and hoodies fit me well. So, Snoopy, there you go for comparison. Okay. What's going on here? Mad Perfect says, I guess about wooden hangers. He's a wooden hanger fan. IKEA bulk pack, then Canadian Tire when you need more. Perfect match. I guess Canadian Tire might have some good hangers for you. All right, well there you go. My only gripe with wooden hangers is the weight. Is they get very heavy.
Yeah.
And but yeah, they definitely look nice. Yeah, I just like the industrial look of like a metal hanger.
Yeah.
But I didn't want a metal hanger that weighed a ton also.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like more structured garments, like coat, like needs probably a wooden hanger.
Right.
It's too heavy of a garment to put it on a super lightweight hanger.
At Tate and Yoko, very, very early days, we had these giant, super thick metal, like each hanger probably weighed like 3 pounds. Oh, maybe not 3 pounds, but they weighed a lot. And they were cool, but the coat hangers are a little weirdly shaped, but we had these really heavy, thick metal hangers, and like they were fun. But I'm like, yo, somebody's gonna drop this on their foot and break their toe. Like it just there's so much sometimes that I'm just like scared of, or like somebody's in the warehouse like climbing on the shelves, and I'm like, stop climbing the shelves. Do not climb the shelves.
I did it all the time.
Oh, it just terrified me. I'm like, the shelves are secure, to be fair. But, like, I've just seen too many of those, like, bad warehouse videos, and I'm just like, don't do it. You
but
need...
It's so annoying if you have to go here and there, like, it can't, like, carry it.
Safety first, okay? Just, I'm just saying, reaching for that pair of jeans is not worth dying for. Okay.
I guess, but it's not. It's sometimes like carrying a ladder from the other side of the warehouse. It's not worth that because it literally takes you 2 seconds to climb up.
Yeah. Anyhow, it does scare me. I'm just like, don't. So like those hangers, I'm just like, I like them, but I was always afraid that someone's gonna just break their foot.
There's danger around.
Yeah.
That's all.
Danger is everywhere. Stranger danger. Okay.
We also have to talk about a big topic that we have been kind of not touching. So last night here we have published a product on the website.
Yeah, so let's go to the internet website right now. That's not it. One of these is it. Hold on. Bang. Biggity boom. Okay, wonderlooper.com. If you go to wonderlooper.com right now, and if you read the newsletter last night, you'll know that the 100% baby cashmere is not up for pre-sale yet, but it's on the website.
Is on the website.
So if you want to preview the 100% baby cashmere tsuriami French terry, it's here. So you can check it out. You can see the photos. Measurements are here. These are based off of, obviously we don't have the production here, so this is not the exact measurements, but these are our targets, and I would say that by and large we tend to hit our targets pretty well. And you can see some photos. We will have soon the video and some shrinkage tests to make an announcement of. So the video will come, and then we'll also let you know, like, basically what's the safest and best way to launder this. So that is coming real soon. But if you want to see some previews of the garment itself, if you want to sign up for the notification, you can do that as well. We've got some close-ups of the fabric. So 100% baby cashmere tsuriami French terry. We're aiming to have the pre-order date start on April 15th, right? Right. So April 15th, that's the target for the pre-order opening. We're going to have the pre-order window for 2 weeks. And then once that's done, we will send everything off to production and get things handled. Now, there's a couple things I wanted to mention, because everyone's favorite topic these days is tariffs and duties and things like that. Cool. Okay, so there is, because this for the American, if you're in a free trade zone with Canada, this is going to enter duty free
with Japan.
if you're in a duty-free trade zone with Japan, which includes Canada, which includes Europe, which includes a lot of countries, Thailand, I think South Korea, there's a lot of places that have free trade with Japan. So if you're in that zone, then this is going to enter duty-free. That said, of course, when you import something, you're still responsible for your local sales tax. So whatever your local sales tax is, that is going to get billed to you. And then there will probably be some sort of like brokerage fee on top of that. So there's as you would, buy something normally in the store there, you have to pay tax. You're going to have to pay tax on this. Hey, if it's up to me, you already know what my response is for that. For Americans, things are a little different because you do not have free trade with Japan. But, and here's a big but. Everyone likes big buts, and they cannot lie. 100% cashmere sweatshirts. The duty rate for that is 4%. 4%. Before I realized this, I thought apparel in general just had a 16% duty rate. For America, that's for cotton goods. This is 100% cashmere. So the duty rate is a lot different. So it comes in at 4%. And even if the 10% tariff remains, which I suspect by the time these are ready, that everything is going to be negotiated away and settled. That might not be there in the future. It is there right now, and right now it's 10%. So even if it is 10% plus the 4%, it's still less than what I think a lot of people expected the duty rate to be on this garment. So just expect that. But 4%, I think that's pretty good. If you got it's better than double digits. So there's that.
Yeah.
And it's definitely better than the 24% that was proposed. So all of this to say is that the duty rate, or what you might have to pay in extra fees, is a lot lower than I think it could have been. Mm-hmm. Right? Yes. Okay. Other people are asking about pay over time available, like Klarna or things like that. Just a shout out to Klarna, the good people at Klarna. The worst salesperson I've ever experienced was the person who basically was our sales guy, and we're not going to use Klarna.
Well, first of all,
I don't even know if it was actually even available in Japan, because they clearly didn't make that clear, and they did not want the sale.
The only reason we had, we talked about Klarna in the past was because, like, no other, what do you call it? The Afterpay or Sezzle or, like, even PayPal, like
split payment,
yeah. All these services were not available for merchants based in Japan. Klarna was the only website that had the Japanese website, like translated in Japanese, have like a, contact us, if you're interested kind of thing. So, obviously I thought it was a possibility to use that in Japan. And the thing is, like, so I was expecting, like, I inquired in Japanese. I was expecting for a Japanese, entity to handle this, but it wasn't that, first of all. So it was an American entity, which is fine. But, their first word out of their mouth was that, like, we're not established in Japan.
Okay, so why are we talking?
So then what if I didn't speak English, first of all? It was just a weird thing for us to offer a Japanese website and ask you to, like, inquire in Japanese, and then, like, you don't even, like, have anybody who speaks Japanese who, it's a weird thing. And I was like, why, my question, the big question, there was a lot of questions around that, the whole thing, but they claim that we can use it, and as long as the users are the people who are paying for it exist in U.S. or somewhere they operate, that they have they are able to use that service. Which, to me it was weird, because, like, then why doesn't all these other companies have that option?
Yeah.
And so it was a little weird. He did not answer that question.
Yeah, and then they started asking like really personal business questions, which I wasn't comfortable giving the information on, but I think it was irrelevant. Well, and it was irrelevant as to whether like we can use their service or not, because like,
it's irrelevant to the percentage of the fees that they're gonna take. I think any kind of business takes their percentage of how much volume we're gonna bring to the business, obviously. So in that sense, it's not irrelevant at all. But the thing is, like, we weren't sure if we could actually use it, and right off the bat, that was their first question. And it's just like, I understand, like, if I'm asking you a direct question, like, how much does it cost me to have this, then, okay, that's one thing that you have to answer that question in order for them to answer that question. But
the answer to that question was seemingly behind this wall of, like, okay, we're going to ask you some, kind of personal business questions, and if you don't answer it, then this conversation is going to go nowhere. And I'm like, what is, like... Basically, I don't want to get into that question, but it was like, the answer to that is irrelevant, because like, do you have a minimum standard for which like you will work with a certain company? And if you do, then just tell us that minimum standard, and I'll tell you whether or not we surpass that or not, right? And if we do, then we're good, right? Like, I don't want, like, it's just, I'm going to say it, I really hate businesses that like try to come up with a price for you based off of you, right? Like, just give me the price. Like, I'll say that, over at Tate, when we put Sezzle on, like, there was Sezzle, there was all these like split pay companies that were like approaching us to work, and like, none of these questions ever came. None of them. I did 100 calls with 100 different companies. These questions never came up. It was basically, when can we implement it on your website? When can we work with you? And like, this interaction with them was basically like, nope, we're not working with you. You come and kiss the ring. And I'm like, number one, I don't think you would even work in this country. Number two, I don't see why you're being so aggressive with us. Like, everybody I've ever dealt with in this space has been super nice, and you weren't. And anyhow.
Well, yes, his attitude was a problem. And I personally don't think that it is, you look at other things, like, it is a relevant issue if you're literally talking about the fees that we're going to have to, consider. But it's not a relevant issue before we are even deciding or, actually wondering if we can even use this service. And they did not make that clear to us. They had no explanation on how this is all going to work. And, like, that obviously, like, combined with his attitude of how he was talking to me, it was not a route that we could actually comfortably take. And realistically, like, it's, if nobody else, really big companies are not offering this service in Japan, likelihood is that we would take time and implement this, and then we actually can't even use it. So I didn't want to waste my time. That actually happens quite often in this space. Dealt with a lot of nonsense like that, where I spent hours and hours trying to figure something out, and turns out it doesn't even work. With that said, we're not going to be able to offer the split payment for this baby cashmere pre-order. And I while I understand that it's a deterrent for some customers, it's just something that we would, we don't have an option at this point.
Right. Don Chaka says, I don't think Klarna takes anything from the merchant. They generate virtual credit cards backed by the web bank. I've used Klarna all over, and to them it shows up as a Visa credit card used. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how they operate, but
the thing is, they should have explained that to us. We have no idea that it's even possible.
Yeah. Like, they were like, it was one of these weird things where, I don't know. They were sort of digging for this information, and I'm like, look, I'm not comfortable giving you this information, but if you let us know what your fees are. Oh, your fees are based off of, I can't. They're basically like, they couldn't even tell us that, and they're like, so what are your sales? Are they under 50 million? Are they under 250 million? And I'm like, Okay, like literally those are like the kinds of numbers they were throwing out. To be fair, the answer is the same. It's all under $250 million. We don't sell $250 million worth of product, but something tells me that most of your clients, most of them, don't do above $250 million either. And I've seen Klarna on a million different small websites. So I know you work with small businesses. So like, we're not, let me put it to this, we're not too small for you, because I've seen you working with the smallest of small companies. So, like, the information you're digging for in terms of, like, our business is irrelevant to you. All you need to do is tell me what your minimum standard is, and I'll tell you whether or not we meet that or not. But no, I don't know. It just felt like a business, information gathering trip, and I wasn't trusting them.
Well, it's just that, like they didn't explain. Again, if they were upfront about all those things, like we would pursue it, because I know that is a good feature to have for especially high price items like, baby cashmere. But again, I don't feel comfortable moving forward with them, and therefore we are not going to have that option right now, because there's no other company that offers that service in this country.
Yeah, if a better one comes around that's nice, then but you're not going to neg me into working with you. It doesn't work.
Realistically, I think when PayPal is relatively established here, so I think maybe they have if they see an opportunity and they start offering that paying for in Japan, I think that is a very realistic thing, because we already use their service.
Nicholas Vilpu says, check with your bank. Chase always asks if I want to split up a payment in their app.
Well, yes, you can split up the payment on your credit card. That is always an option. In Japan, you use a card. They always ask you, do you want to pay in one? Do you want to pay in multiple? And that's always a possibility. In Japan, it's the credit card works a little differently. That like if you put it in one bill, that bill is gonna get taken out of your bank account automatically. If you put one purchase in split payments, it will be taken out in split months. Whereas like in America, I know that you pay your credit card bill, like you initiate the payment to your credit card bill, so you could just actually not pay it in full amount and carry over the balance to the next month. But that's always an option. But I understand that incurs interest rate and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Anyhow, long story short, not what I expected with a call like that. Generally speaking, anytime like any sort of app or something wanted to work with like Tate, it was always like, when can we start? Like literally, like it's just like very happy conversations, like let's go. And like this one, it was just like, it just felt negative right off the bat. And it just felt like...
and also, amazingly, this was actually the first red flag, is that, like, when I inquired from their website, it took them, like, 2 weeks to get back to me. And it took them another, like, a week and a half to schedule a call. Yeah. So... I just, that was definitely the first red flag, that they're not actually wanting you to inquire.
Right, because I'll also say, again, back in Tate days, whatever software like app solution we use for like whatever it is, it's like the calls are immediate. Like literally, like you want to sign up for like an email marketing company, it's like somebody is on the phone with you like now.
But it's not just Tatenogo, it's over here too. Yeah. And any other they're already ready to go, whereas like this one, it took way too long.
Yeah, so it was not a great experience. Yeah. So if you're watching, Klarna guy, maybe you are, I don't know, send a different salesperson. Maybe if someone wants to be nice to us, maybe we'll consider you. But and even if it works, we don't know because we couldn't even get that basic information out of you. So shout outs to you are a bad salesperson. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I've dealt with Many, many
I
better
think
salespeople
you are
than you.
in general not a good person. Period.
Okay. Oh wow. Even deeper.
Because don't you think that it was a very condescending
it was very rude.
person? Like it wasn't even about like whether I, before even he asked the question of like of the sales amount, he was not a pleasant person to talk to.
There was a bit of arrogance
looking
there.
down.
Yeah. So, suck it. Okay. In the words of DX, I've got 2 words for you. And those 2 words are everybody in the chat. Let's do it. Okay. BD says they won't take a bite out of your sales, but maybe you could take a bite out of snack time. What's on the menu or on tap today? Let's do it, everybody.
Okay.
Let's get to snack time because we've got a variety of flavors.
We just even thought about this snack and my what do you call this? Like a saliva line just activated.
There you go, because we've got some sour snacks today.
Yeah. So we actually are doing like a series of food. It's not just one food, one snack. Right?
Yes.
We're doing all of it?
We're doing all of it.
So our theme is ume. So ume, it's plums, but in Japan, we often consume plums in dried, very sour form.
Yeah.
Umeboshi style. So this one is the chips with ume and akashiso and aoshiso. I don't know what shiso is in English, but it's just like a type of herb. It has a very distinctive flavor to it. And there's the red one and there's green one that is pictured here. This one also ume. This is the kamu kamu chewy candy.
Like a gummy candy. They're known for their lemon flavor, which is incredible.
That was the OG flavor.
Yeah.
That came out when I was in high school, and I consumed a ton of it.
Yeah.
It is a delicious snack.
Yeah.
But they came out with the ume flavor.
Yeah. And they do have a million flavors, which are all great, but I've never had this one before.
And then this thing started the whole thing because I looked at this in a store, which this was a thing when I was younger. I haven't seen this in stores for a long time. And this is just like a little tiny tablet. It's like a mint, but it's with umeboshi flavor.
Right. I've never had this before.
It's pretty sour if I remember correctly. So I don't know where we want to start.
Okay, let's start over in okay, you know what? I think we end in Chipland. You start with the gummy. Let's start with this guy.
Extreme?
Yeah,
okay.
the extreme.
Let's start with the strong taste of little
old school
my
Japanese flavors right here.
Yeah. See, it looks like medicine.
Interesting. This is a candy.
Well,
it looks like medicine.
Yeah. It's debatable if it's a candy, but
Japanese medicine often comes in these little things like this.
Sometimes. Okay,
It's not a powder.
Oh, it's bigger than I remember.
And it's not as pink as the box is. So the pink, you know what I mean?
And this one also has shiso flavor. It goes well together.
Okay,
so.
well let's give this a try. It just smells medicine-y.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it smells a little medicine-y.
It's not a sweet candy or anything like this. It's a very sour candy.
Tastes medicine-y.
Ooh.
But very sour.
Very sour.
Very sour. Salty a little bit.
Oh, it's very salty too. That's the thing about umeboshi. It's just very salty.
It's just really sour. Like, not burn your tongue sour, but...
Oh.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean...
I used to love this.
It's not
I like sour things in general.
I don't think you said you liked this when you were a kid. I'd be like, I don't know if a kid would like this.
I wasn't like 3-year-old liking this. It's it's my young adulthood.
It feels like an adult, like a mature flavor.
But like,
because there's also a bitterness to it. There's saltiness, there's a bitterness, and there's a lot of sour. Like I'm just.
But like a kid in Japan likes umeboshi, even though it's very, very sour. So maybe we'll see. We'll give it to like maybe our niece and see if she likes it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's particularly an adult flavor.
No, give me a tissue.
You want to spit it out?
I need a palate refresh.
Yeah, I mean, it stays in your mouth. It's a really...
Wow. It really, like, yeah, it, like, you can feel it. You can feel it right here where it's just like...
You're basically just eating umeboshi without eating umeboshi.
Right. Interesting. Okay, that's an interesting flavor.
Okay.
Not my favorite flavor in the world, but it's interesting. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Like,
but,
if you like it's an equivalent of, like, a very strong mint. You know?
yeah, but sour.
The one that's very strong flavor.
But this is like a mint. I feel like refreshes your mouth.
Yeah, but
this
that's
one,
because like it.
I guess that's my mentality.
Yeah, like you connect it with teeth brushing.
Nomad Crow says, it's good that the color isn't very saturated. It means no petroleum-based food dyes. All right, well there you go. Bahzad, do you normally eat ume? It's not for me. I'm not against it. It's not a flavor I desire, right? It's a little, I don't know. Sometimes like pickly sour things are not exactly what I want, and these tend to be quite sour. And I like sour candies, but I don't know.
I'm not the biggest fan of umeboshi actually in general, but like the taste is good, so I like this.
Yeah, let's try the artificial. We're going to artificial end. If you want,
This I would imagine is less sour. Less concentrated.
Oh, who knows? That's a good question. Okay, here's one for you. And I mean, it is, yeah.
It looks like a jelly bean.
Yeah, it looks like a jelly bean. That's right. So, we'll give that guy a try here. So that's the Camu Camu Ume flavor.
This one tastes more like shiso, in my opinion. It has the more herby taste.
Definitely the herby taste is stronger here. Not as sour. This thing is way more sour.
This one has sugar too. It's like sugar definitely kind of
mellows it out.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like maybe I'm accustomed to extreme. Like when I eat a sour candy, it's like it's sweet and really sour.
Oh, like it's a citrusy flavor.
It's pure artificial. Whereas like this, you can feel whether it is real or not natural or not. Like you feel the herbiness, right? And like this sort of reminds me of, or like even this, it just reminds me of like this is probably what candy used to taste like. You know, before they got like, you know, modern candy, like, you know, if you're thinking like old school, because they just didn't have the ingredients and, you know, I don't know. This is just my impression of like.
But like, I think Chinese culture eat this like thing too.
Yeah,
It tastes very like that, like Oriental flavor.
Right. That's true. Okay, let's hit the strong.
This is gonna be good, I think.
Sour potato chips. Let's try it. Yeah.
It doesn't look so. Yeah, it's got a little pink powders, but
let's grab one there. Okay, so it's not too heavily coated here, but you can see the pink and the red.
This one has like a lot more little powder in there.
Right.
Like red powders.
But it is a nice thick cut chip here. There we go. Okay, let's give this guy a try. A sour, strong potato chip.
That's good. This one's the most
mellow.
Yeah.
This is the most mellow. Like, interesting. Yeah. It just has like a hint, a small hint of the ume flavor.
I'm sure if we didn't eat the previous one,
I might feel it strong, but
this one has a good, strong taste of the potato as well. Not very sour.
Not very sour. A little bit. it just has a nice like twang to it.
Kind of like vinegar.
Yeah, like a salt and vinegar kind of chip. So in that realm, which I'm comfortable with. I'm fine with this chip. This is a good chip. Not my favorite chip. It's like a 6.5 kind of chip. You know, kind of down the middle. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is if you could try one of these. You should actually try all of these if you come to Japan. But this thing is definitely very sour.
This one is an experience.
Yeah.
I haven't, I was just so nostalgic to me. This is
you bought
so
more
good.
than one pack. So, interesting flavor. I don't know what to grade this. I don't know. It's just, I don't like it. I don't hate it. I don't know. It's a definite try. I'm gonna go with that's a try, and that's a B+. That's my grading scale for here.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how to grade these because they're not.
It's very difficult.
They're not disgusting. They're not what I'm reaching for. But trying it is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll leave it there, everybody.
You know, one last thing is like the COVID times when you travel, you have to like when you arrive back in Japan, you have to spit in a tube so that they can check for the virus. And in when you land, everybody goes through this like booth where like they put a picture of lemon and umeboshi next to it, and it's just like that's really like working like I feel
Your
pain
glands.
in this.
Yeah. Nomad Crow, I thought ratings were out of 10. Sometimes they're out of 10. Sometimes they're 3 orange circles out of however many. I don't know how to grade things sometimes, but it is what it is. Quid says, dang it, I missed the whole live stream again. You didn't miss the whole thing. You got some of it, and guess what? The replay is going to be available immediately after this stream ends. So you can catch up right from the start, which is about that time. So, everybody, we're going to leave it there. It's been fun. It's been a great time hanging out with all of you, as it is every Friday night in the West, 7 p.m. Eastern, or 8 a.m. here in Japan time. We get up early to hang out with you guys. So we'll be back again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel for the Wonder Looper live stream, the greatest live stream in the history of the internet. So,
we usually talk more about clothes, just so you know. If this is your first live stream, like I know we talked about Japan and non-clothes things a lot, but we sometimes do that.
We cover it all.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
right,
next
come back
week.
next time.
Yeah, come back next time. Or if there's a question or something you want us to cover, leave it in the comment section below. We'll be sure to respond to it next week. And until then, do something nice for yourself and do something nice for somebody else. And we'll see you guys real soon. All right. Bye, everyone.
Have a nice weekend.